What's going on, everyone? So today, February 23rd, it was the start of Formula One testing in Barcelona. Very exciting. All the cars were able to go out for the first time. They have recorded times, and this is the actual cars, not what we were shown during the reveals, but the actual cars that the drivers are gonna be driving during the regular season. Sadly, we weren't able to. It wasn't broadcasted anywhere, which really is such a bummer, and it would have been really nice to have a little appetizer, if you will, of Formula One racing. But we have the next best thing, which is just live updates were tweeted throughout the day, as well as the final results here at the end of the day. So today we're going to take a look at that and see if there are any indicators of phenomenal cars, phenomenal drivers, and we'll just break it down. As always, if you like the video, feel free to like and subscribe. Let's get into it. Okay, so I'm getting this graphic off of Formula1.com, and right off the bat, Lando Norris in the McLaren, the only one to get under 120, a minute 20 for a lap, and he put in a total of 103 laps. I mean, I did not see Lando Norris going first. You know, maybe that McLaren really is something special, but I was not expecting that one bit. Incredible, though. Shout out to him. Yeah, he was killing it. He's always been a phenomenal driver, and I think that in new cars, especially, being able to pick it up this quickly, he absolutely killed it. Great job there. Then 2-3, huge sign, big Ferrari fan. So this is huge. 2 and 3, Ferrari, really close to each other, and also really close, pretty close behind Norris. So this is incredible. I'm glad they were able to have some consistency. It's looking like the Ferrari drives as good as it looks. They both put in 73 and 80 laps. For a while they were 1 and 2, and then towards the end of the practice session, actually Norris was able to get ahead of them. Now, of course, you do have to look at the number of laps, and they're not all going for all-out speed. You know, they're just collecting data, so this isn't the biggest indicator of how they're going to do throughout the season. However, we're just getting a taste of it. That being said, this is a strong sign for Ferrari, huge confidence booster. So going into the next few practice days, we'll see how the times are looking and if they run more laps. You see, a lot of these cars, besides Alfa Romeo and Haas, and some Williams, drove a good amount of laps, which shows nice reliability. I know that Haas was having some floor issues, which is a real bummer because, you know, you always root for Haas, want them to do well, but they said this would be the year, but maybe next year's the year. 4-5, no surprise there. You have Mercedes. I guess one of the things you could say is a surprise is that George Russell is ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Of course, you know, it's 0.2 away from each other, so it's not the biggest difference at all. And I will say, Mercedes, one of their cars, I believe Russell's, had vents on top of the, pods is what they're kind of been calling it, and Hamilton's did not, trying to collect cooling data on the engine, I'm sure. But Mercedes up there, no shocker there. They both put in a decent amount of laps. Russell had 77, Hamilton had 50. That's great. Then Vettel, that's great for him. That Aston Martin seems to be working then. Good for him. You know, getting 6. Tsunoda, which was huge in the AlphaTauri. Seems like he got some good data. 121 laps. Actually, so Tsunoda, Alonso, and Verstappen all put in an insane amount of laps, especially Verstappen. He had the most out of the day, 147 laps. Pretty unreal, but it shows that they built that Red Bull car well. Valtteri, big fan of Valtteri here. Trying out the Alpha for the first time. Only 23 laps. I heard that they also had some issues. There were reports of some kind of malfunctions there, but good for Valtteri being able to be in front of Stroll and the Aston Martin, the Williams, and Haas's. Good for him. I think his struggle will be being a great driver in an okay car and how he'll perform. But he'll definitely be looking to get points this year. Alex Albon, who went from Red Bull back up to now Mercedes. I'm really glad he's in there. He really seemed to outperform Latifi a good amount. 66 laps, so looking pretty good there. And then you have the Haas. I think in the Aston Martin, which Vettel showed can really put in some work, Lance Stroll being back in 13th is hopefully a bit of a wake-up call that, if Aston Martin really wants to perform in the way that I'm sure they want to, they're going to need both drivers being at least top 10. Again, I know it's just practice and all that, but I'm sure at some point in there they said, hey, let's see what you can do in the car and just let it fly. Then, you have the typical suspects in the back, Williams, Haas. Poor Haas. Good for Schumacher, though, in the Haas being above Lance Stroll in the Aston and Latifi in the Williams. So good for him. Hopefully that's a good sign of what's to come. Robert in the Alpha, in last by a good chunk and only 9 laps, so I'm sure something went on there. They were just trying to run the car, at least for a little bit. Nikita Mazepin, also no shock there. It was an exciting day. Main takeaways really is that Ferrari and McLaren, which were they were mid-tier teams basically, third and fourth, they seem like they're going to be real contenders, which is a great sign and makes for a really interesting series. Imagine if instead of just Mercedes and Red Bull battling it out, it's now 4 teams: Mercedes, Red Bull, McLaren, and Ferrari. The more teams that are in that elite tier, especially with these new regulations and the new cars, the more exciting the season's going to be. So day one was a huge, got me excited for some Formula One, and I hope that the next 2 days of testing show the same thing, and then we can get to some really good racing and a really good season. Appreciate you watching. Thanks.